Right, everybody. So today I'll be just talking, giving you guys a couple of tips and things to consider before you want to move over to Linux or even try Linux for gaming, because these tips should hopefully help you so that the first time you try it, it actually works out okay for you and not like a terrible dumpster fire like some of the larger YouTubers have been posting recently with the SteamOS videos. I wish everybody could just jump off of that bandwagon. Anyways, I'm going to have the benchmark run. I believe it is currently set to the medium. This is Blacksmith Wukong, by the way, the benchmark tool, the free tool, free on Steam. It's currently set to medium, FSR, 100% scaling. I don't even think I can switch this off. I can't switch it off, so FSR it is, but 100% scaling. Anyways, it is very hot today. I did do a run here on cinematic and basically as high settings as I possibly can, and I will post those results at the end of the video, okay? But keep in mind what you'll be seeing. I'm recording, OBS and everything is running on the same machine as this benchmark is running, so hopefully something won't catch fire today. It's very warm. Let's get into it. Some tips and tricks, okay? Very low effort video today. The first thing I want to talk about is distros and kernels, okay? So this SteamOS bandwagon that everybody has been jumping on, SteamOS is sort of streamlined for the Steam Deck, okay? So if you take that image that's supposed to go onto a Steam Deck and try and put it on I don't know, a desktop machine, you're gonna run into problems, okay? There's actually been people documenting which hardware works better for that specific image. So don't do that. It's going to be a terrible experience, okay? If you have to try and get stuff working, if you have to swap out CPUs and graphics cards just to get that working, that's going to be a terrible experience. Choose literally almost any other distro, okay? Would probably run perfectly fine on your machine. That being said, if you are an early adopter of new hardware, if you buy the new stuff the moment it comes out and hits the shelves, go for something called a rolling release. You can Google it, look at distributions that uses a rolling release that's on latest kernels, on newer kernels. Pop! OS, as a lot of people have been mentioning, it's great, but currently they're not updating as often as they used to, and the kernel might be a little bit outdated for certain CPUs and certain GPUs. So get a rolling release if you're going to be the type of person to continuously buy the new hardware, okay? Rolling releases, Arch-based as distributions are probably going to be your best friend. And it doesn't have to be gaming distributions, okay? The gaming distributions, especially the ones that are trying to mimic SteamOS, they might have frame rate limiters. They might have all sorts of different overlays that you now have to go and figure out how to configure and all sorts of stuff. So you might as well just use a normal distribution or a gaming distribution that is not meant to be SteamOS-like, because you're going to have to do configuration on those anyways. So stay away from something that is meant to be a console type of interface for your desktop, is what I'm saying. If you want to set up a media PC in your lounge and game on that, go for those, okay? They'll probably cap your frame rate and save some power and, be great. But for high-end gaming stuff, high frame rates and stuff, just get a normal distro. Stay away from the SteamOS stuff. Anything SteamOS, stay away from it, okay, for now. And until Valve says, this is the one we're releasing to the public for general desktop use, stay away from SteamOS. So you want the latest and greatest kernels if you're going to be running the latest and greatest hardware, especially when it comes to AMD, as the AMD drivers are baked into the kernel. Then X11 versus Wayland. So these are what we call Windows systems. And depending on your distribution and what desktop environment you are running, you either are running the older, more stable X11 or Xorg Windows system. That one gives me the least amount of hassles, and my frame rate is very similar on X11 versus Wayland, which is the other one, the newer one, on my AMD cards. However, I have heard and read that NVIDIA cards perform better on the X11. So if you have a NVIDIA system, try X11 if Wayland is giving you issues. I just recommend, if you're completely new to Linux, to just use, or Linux, just use X11 anyways, because most of your apps and things, X11 would support that. Wayland is getting there, yeah, and it's great. I'm not bashing Wayland in any way. I'm just saying it's not quite there yet. So for newcomers, for Linux newbies, stay away from Wayland or Hyperland or any of those lands. Just use X11, okay? Just use what has been proven that works. If it's slightly more inefficient, who cares? It'll work, okay? Then I wanted to talk about Mango HUD. Mango HUD is what we use on our overlays very often. These results have been sitting here for a while. Let's go back and change some settings. I'm going to run it on low quickly as well so that you guys can see. I'm not going to do high. I'll post the cinematic benchmark results where I didn't record, where it was just the thing running. Post that at the end, and then I'll show you the low settings now. Yeah, but I was talking about Mango HUD. I don't have Mango HUD running at the moment, and there's a good reason why. So with a lot of DX12 titles, I don't want to do high. Let's do low. With a lot of DX12 titles, in fact, all my DX12 titles has been giving issues with Mango HUD, and it's a random issue as well. It's very hard to reproduce. So currently in my Mango HUD, I have it set to not display the HUD. So even though it's running, I can press Shift F2 and it will start logging. I can't see the HUD until I bring the HUD to the foreground, because sometimes the game just freezes. For some reason, just DX12. So Mango HUD currently has a few bugs. Some people are saying it's causing stuttering if the HUD is displayed. So do with that what you will. But again, on Windows, your programs sometimes have bugs, sometimes they don't work, sometimes Afterburner, doesn't report properly, things like that. So again, it's nothing major, nothing special, nothing like, oh, Linux sucks, Windows is so much better. No, Windows also has issues from time to time. Linux has issues from time to time. So yeah, that's Mango HUD for you. And it's once you get used to modifying the Mango HUD config file, it's actually quite easy. And you can really make it look like you want to look at everything from the rounded corners to the opacity to custom text, all sorts of stuff. It's actually a fun tool to use. Other tools, a lot of people are saying on Linux, oh no, there's not like something like Afterburner where we can just, it's one thing that works for everything. Unfortunately, I don't think there's currently a tool that is like Afterburner, but there are vendor-specific tools. So there's Green with Envy for the NVIDIA side, so that you can do overclocks, underclocks, overvolts, undervolts, things like that with your NVIDIA cards. Core Control for AMD. There is another AMD one. I haven't used it. It starts with an L. I think it's LACT or something like that. You can look it up, just Google it, but there are tools available. The one thing with my AMD system though is I had to enable a flag, but again, it's not that difficult. If you use Grub as your boot loader, which a lot of distributions ship with, Grub Customizer, it's a GUI, and you can just copy and paste the flags in there from Core Control's wiki and enable it, and boom, you've got full control over your GPU, just like that. So it's worth a read. It's unfortunately not just something like in Windows where you run it as admin and you got voltage control. You have to enable a certain kernel flag to get voltage control, but again, it's not that difficult, okay? Just get over yourselves. People do extra steps on Windows. You can't tell me that people don't do troubleshooting and extra steps on Windows, okay? There's multiple different programs running on Windows so that you can have all your crap running the way you want it to run. Why do you want Linux to just be a install and go for everything? No, there's going to be some stuff you have to install and configure. Then we've got anti-cheat and Proton. So obviously on Steam, you want to enable Steam Play. It's one setting, once off. As you install Steam, after you've installed it, you go and enable it, and boom, it allows you to use Proton for the games that aren't officially supported on Linux. Wow, you just do it once. It's not that big of a deal, okay? Yes, it should probably be enabled by default, but just go and click the few buttons. I think it's 3 clicks, and you're there. So please, that's the other thing is, before you purchase a game or spend a hell of a lot of data downloading it, go to protondb.com and check what the reports are there. Okay, there's launch parameters. There's normally people there that can help you get it started. If it's balked, it's balked, and people will say, look, it's not running, we've tried everything. The other thing to check is, are we anticheatyet.com, I believe is. I'll just leave the links in the description, but you want to check that for your competitive multiplayer titles. A lot of them do work. Marvel Rivals, Halo Infinite, I believe the Halo Master Chief Collection has recently gotten support, or is going to get support. So Apex recently got nuked, but apparently that's just falling down anyways and collapsing in on itself. I don't know. Please comment below what's happening with Apex lately. And yeah, so check those sites. I'll leave the links in the description before you go and spend a lot of time and money on getting games to work. But in general, there's a cuck ton of games that do work on Linux, and don't just go with these huge YouTubers who does Linux videos, and then if you see there's a lot of Linux users in the comments bitching and moaning, it's because, yeah, we feel like those YouTubers are making it seem like it's a hell of a lot more difficult getting things to run on Linux, okay? And it's not. It's really not that difficult. So I've been rambling on, guys. I'm probably going to trim this video a little bit, but please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Here's the results. I'll slap the results right here from when I had the cinematic settings on, the cinematic preset. Obviously, ray tracing does not work at all on this for me. I don't know if it requires NVIDIA for ray tracing on this benchmark, but it just doesn't work for me. But the cinematic settings maxed out. Here's the results, and thanks for watching. If you've watched this far, have a good one. Bye.